Good morning, everybody. It is Friday morning, and what I think is different about today's severe weather than recent days, because we're all professionals in it now, we're experienced. What I think is different about today than the last few rounds of storms that we have had is that once storms kick off this afternoon, they're going to grow upscale, is what we say, but they're going to start popping up around the region very quickly, or at least they could. That's what I see happening with this morning's data, and I'm going to show you all that and what I think the timeline is, and I will be right here to get you through it. But I just think that's important to know. A lot of times with storm systems, we can look out to Kansas. You guys hear me say that all the time, or look off to the southwest. We can see something progressing through, or the northwest if it's a front. And that gives everybody some time. You know, once it starts, then people over here have a little more time. Today, I think these storms that we're going to talk about firing first could pop up rapidly this afternoon. And I don't think you want to be caught, with too short a time frame there. So we have those two waves. We have this afternoon, and then we have a little bit later this evening, different threats for each one. So got to go ahead and jump into that today, and then I'll give you the timeline with the latest data as it sits this morning. So first of all, no big change to our severe weather outlook today in the 3 out of 5 enhanced risk. I think everybody is aware by now. In case you are not, we do have the possibility of tornadoes today. Up into the 5 to 9%. So we're taking this seriously today. I'll show you why in just a second. Be thinking through where you would go on a Friday afternoon, where you expect to be this afternoon. A little bit more than into the evening, but that I'll show you the data for that in just a second. So severe wind, definitely a possibility with the later wave of storms that move through, and severe hail. I think, bottom line, this is what we're talking about today. I think with the storms that fire off this afternoon, I think we're talking about a possibility of some actually very large hail. There are portions of the forecast area that may see baseball-sized hail today with those storms that crop up. So I think we're talking about hail is top of the page with this afternoon storms, and then wind damage tonight. So we have all of these other threats that are in play. They're all in play today. But if I was going to make a list, top of the page to the bottom, that's how I would organize the threats today. Hail, number 1, wind, number 2. All this brought to you today by State Line Group. Awesome to have them bringing you severe weather coverage. Take a screenshot. There is Kyle and his phone number for all the different kinds of work that they can do for you. They can tailgate rock for a smooth finish, and I'm going to bring that up because everybody's driveway is washed out or about to be. They've got rock, they've got dirt, sand, river rock, compost, dump truck, and loader daily rates available for anything that you might need. And with the amount of water that might come down, I need to get to that by the end of the forecast. So I put myself a reminder over here so I do not forget. We have severe weather, but we also have some water issues going on as well to talk about. So let's get into the schedule. That's the most important thing today. This is what the data is suggesting this morning. So again, things could shift a little bit, but this has really been consistent. So I'm confident to go ahead and put this up for you this morning. But this is when I see things firing off. Again, different places are going to see different things at different times. And so, I want to show you when it is possible that things will start off. And I'm looking here at the 2 o'clock hour. So between 1 and 2, very possible, but I see by 2, in the forecast area, storms starting to propagate. They may be down here to the south. But my point with this, you guys, as I go toward 3 o'clock, look what the data is doing. We're popping up with clusters of cells, and over here in west central Missouri, we're popping up with these discrete cells. So what I know about these is if these fire, these are going to almost definitely bring hail, and possibly some very large hail. These are the ones we also watch the closest for the tornado threat, although we'll be watching all day. But I think this is hail, and the thing about this data is, I'm not going to zoom in and tell you that exactly out here west of Lamar, there will be a cell at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So I hope you guys understand that. This is representing that really anywhere in this area, these storms could start to fire, and I'm seeing really between 1 and 3 p.m. So here's a possible 3 p.m. radar. By 4 p.m., look what has happened. So that's a relatively short period of time. So that's what I was saying, guys. Once these start to pop up, they literally are just going to pop up everywhere, kind of explode out all over the region. So this is a possible suggested radar for about 4 p.m. So it really could be anytime between 3 and about 5 p.m. We're watching for these smaller cells. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of zoom out and show you kind of the forecast picture. Here it is. These are the two waves that we're dealing with, and we should be able to see everything by about 4 o'clock. So I expect to be on here if we've had any warnings by this time, and you guys can see with me. But this is kind of the overall storm picture at about 4 today. We've had these discrete cells popping up. Excuse me. We've been watching them. And then we're going to look out to the west where we expect to see some linear organization. And this is where we transfer over to more of a wind threat. And so I'm going to go ahead and bring this up to about the 6 o'clock hour when I think that storms will be, they kind of see how they lean off to the northeast. So we're going to look up to points in Kansas City first, right? So they get affected by this between, maybe 5 and 6 p.m. So if you need to be out of the city today, I'd shoot for 4. To be honest, because here comes maybe 5 o'clock that a strong wave, that's going to have a lot of stuff in it. That's going to have big hail and strong gusty winds working on to that Friday afternoon commute time. So I want to go ahead and put that out. But by 6 o'clock, really affecting all of our region should be these more linear segments here where we talk about damaging winds, strong damaging winds, you guys. Being a possibility for our area. So we can't rule out, I was talking about this yesterday, little spin up tornadoes. The good thing about these, if one gets started in this line, they generally don't last as long. But we also can't rule out, the data is not really showing it, we can't rule out cells that might jump out ahead. And they can last a little bit longer if they spin up a tornado. So we still have to talk about that threat, unfortunately. So there's a radar possibly around 6 p.m. tonight. There's 8 o'clock. So you guys can see that we're going to be all done up in Kansas City. I am shooting for 8 o'clock for you guys to breathe a breath of fresh air and be done. Start to finish up in Harrisonville around 8 o'clock. But want to talk to the folks down south. You guys are going to hang on the longest. You saw how this thing is oriented off to the northeast. So here is possibly still 8 o'clock. We could have some very heavy storm activity down around Nevada. So, and that's going to actually last. So that takes me into the flood concern. So here we are at about 10 o'clock tonight, you guys, by the way. A lot of the region is done, but we're still going to be hanging on close to like that 44 corridor, Springfield and places to the north by about 10 o'clock tonight. That's how this whole system is going to go. So here we go, talking about how much rain we might get. So you guys saw in west central Missouri there, starting over here in east central Kansas, how those storms might hang out tonight. Maybe the severe threat is gone by then or on its way out. But you saw that line of showers and thunderstorms that's going to camp out over this area. And so we have a potential for, and there's already a flood watch out for almost the entire area. The flood watch covers just this line of counties over here in Kansas and almost all of west central Missouri for this reason right here, where we expect those thunderstorms to hang out for a 2 to 2.6 inches of rain. And to be honest with you, it could be more depending on the amount of time that those showers and storms hang out. So we got already saturated ground out there and 2+ inches in less than 24 hours. So all those areas prone to flooding, be on the alert for. But I think we're going to be talking about flash flooding again in these areas tonight too. So we'll put that out. So we go through all the threats today, guys, and we wind up with possibly some flash flooding by the end of it. So it's a cold front. I want to go ahead and put that out there because we don't tend to talk about temperature as much. Look at this. We will go from 80, I think it's going to be about 81 in the region today in the meantime. So we actually have a sunny, a little bit breezy day in the meantime. We'll get up to about 81 degrees. But as this cold front works its way through, doing whatever it is going to do tonight, it's going to drop us down to about 42 degrees. So a 40-degree temperature drop is also in store for us as well. Brings on a cooler weekend. It could be down in the 30s. There's going to be some places up in northern Missouri. If you guys are watching from up there, possibly a frost potential up into that area again still. So, but anyway, for the rest of us, a cooler Sunday morning. Looking at next week, it remains a little bit cooler, but it is going to be cool and it is going to be dry. I don't see another storm system returning to our area. I think there's some sprinkles on Tuesday, maybe, but I don't see another storm system possibly returning until around Friday next week. So in the meantime, it is cooler and dry. It is quiet. We can all take a break. So know that there's good stuff on the other side of this. We just got to get through this today, and we will get through it today. The best way to do it is with information up to the date, up to the second. You're welcome to jump on here with me, and we'll be watching it. I'll be telling you exactly what's going on where. And what I think is headed where. And most importantly, I'll be telling you when you're in the clear. So that's a good reason to watch right there. So that's what we're going to do for the rest of the day. That is what I know. That is the data that I have for you this morning. Like I said, everybody keep paying attention. I think we're talking really to be on the safe side after around 1 o'clock this afternoon. I'll keep you posted. Talk to you later.